Hello, my name's Martin Sims, and today I'm going to show you some of the ways that I'd go about retrofitting our Super Quad pickups into an existing bass. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark on the bass before I take the strings off where the centre line is to make sure that the actual pickup itself goes in the middle and it's not to one side or the other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the strings off, take the bridge off and take the neck off. Remove the pickups, transfer the centre mark onto the body. We've already got that one on the body there. And remove the pick guard, mask off along that centre line when we do the routing, just so I can protect it. Here, centre line, and then draw a line right the way across from here. We're going to be using one of our router guides. They're available on our website. There's a PDF drawing of this that's also downloadable, and then you could make your own. We also produce a pick guard. I'm going to put this pick guard in place. This will then give me an idea where to mark our positions. I'm going to put some double-sided sticky tape onto the base, double-sided sticky tape onto the underside of the guide, lining up with our centre line on the guard. Drop that down onto our double-sided tape. Everything looks good and square. Now we're ready to move over to the router bench and get this routed out. This is a two-part jig, and this interior part is the first route that we do, and that just places inside there. What this does, it gives us an initial route to go down, which will help us clear the 12-pin connector, so that when the pickup goes down into the body, it's not going to foul on that area. On a P bass, I would normally route this down at 25mm or an inch in the middle part, and then we'll do an extra route on the outside to take the rest of the pickup. What I'm using here is a small router bit. I think it's only about 10mm. It's under half an inch depth on there, so that we can go down into the body without going down too far, and then having the bearing guide come up against the side of the jig. Okay, that's now the route, the pickup now, ready to go. I'm now going to transfer the jig, take that off, replace it with some new double-sided tape, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with the bridge pickup. Like so, making room for our 12-pin connector. Now what we have to do is find somewhere to put the Tri-Logic switch. Now in this instance, we normally make a route in the back, and to help with that we have another downloadable PDF, in this case with the P bass, that will help to show you a good position for that to go in the back where it's going to avoid the other routes. Now that we've routed down our 36mm in the middle here, remove that particular guide, and we're now going to route down 2.5mm in order to take the back plate, which once again is available if you choose to, or if you need to get hold of any of these from our website. Here's a little back plate, and there it goes. Now we have obviously our two pickup routes, and we now have our rear cavity route. On this third piece we also have this little interior piece here, and you'll see that there are two very small 2mm holes which we're going to use as locating holes for the two switches. We're now going to use a simple brad point bit, 6.5mm or 1/4 inch, which I'm then going to use the centre of the brad point into the guidelines here for the switches themselves. This produces a nice clean cut and doesn't chip out the lacquer because we're going from the front down. Here we go. I am going to drill somewhere for the leads to come through, and I'm going to be going from here into our new cavity. So the next thing to do is to fit in the switches. The B switch is for the bridge pickup, and the N switch is for the neck pickup. We've got 3 solder tags that need to be connected. We're going to connect the ground to the ground and then off to the back of the pots. We're then going to connect the 9 volt to the 9 volt and then go through to the stereo jack switch, and then we're going to have the bridge hot out, which goes to the bridge pot, and then we have the neck hot out, which will go to the neck pot, or both of them could go to a blend pot if you'd rather have a blend pot rather than 2 individual volumes. What I've done is I've chosen a white wire for the neck hot pickup out, which is going to go to the neck pot. I've now joined the 2 9 volts together here, which is then going to go off to the stereo jack, which we're going to fit in order to power the LEDs, not the actual pickups themselves, but to power the LEDs inside the pickup. And then we've got the ground going to the ground here, and that's going off to the common ground on the back of the pots. We've fitted the pots. I've swapped out the 250k pots, which would have been in there originally, for 500k pots, because obviously there's a humbucker in one of those pickups, so we need to go over to 500k. I've also swapped out the mono jack for a stereo jack, because I want to use the switching aspect of this jack in order to be able to turn off and turn on the LEDs when the jack goes in, and then when I pull the jack out, the LEDs will go off because the switching part is going to separate those. We have our white hot for the neck pickup, which is going to the neck pot. We have our yellow hot, which is going off to the yellow pot. All the other pots are wired up as they would be normally. We then have the hot 9 volt that was on the back of those Trilogic switches going to the actual power, the 9 volt battery, which I've got down in here. And then the negative from the battery travels through the switch, and then from the switch we then go back onto the back of the pot so that everything's connected with the break through the switch for the 9 volt supply. So now we have our 2 wiring looms. When you look on the back of your pickup, you'll see that there's a receiving 12-pin socket there as well. That goes one way round, can only go one way round, like so. There's 2 guides here which then locate into the back of the pickup, and there we are, job done. All the connections are made for you. So here we are, everything wired up now. A split coil with our 2 volumes, neck pot linked to our neck pickup, bridge pot linked to our bridge pickup, tone roll off, as this is a passive instrument. We now have single coil, and now we have our humbucker and our humbucker. Everything done.